Grandpa, will we see the seals today?
You bet, kiddo.
This boat is reserved for our gala. Rules are rules. This is my boat. Get off now.
The salty breeze off Chesapeake Bay carried the promise of adventure that crisp autumn morning. I'd been looking forward to this day for months, finally taking my granddaughter, Sophia, out on the water aboard my cherished boat, the Endeavor. She was only 8, but she'd fought like a warrior through rounds of chemotherapy, and now, with the doctors declaring her in remission, this trip was our victory lap. A quiet sail along the bay, spotting seals maybe, and letting the waves wash away the hospital memories. But as we approached the private harbor slip I'd owned for nearly 2 decades, my heart sank. There were people everywhere, caterers hauling trays, strangers unfolding tables, and right in the middle, directing it all with a shrill voice and a clipboard, was Susan Whitaker, the vice president of our homeowners association. She had the audacity to claim my boat for her grand community gala for over 100 guests, waving some made-up policy in my face while Sophia clung to my leg, her eyes filling with tears. Little did Susan know, I'd been keeping a secret for all these years. I wasn't just another resident in Bayview Shores. I owned the ground beneath her feet, and I was about to remind her who really held the power. The harbor air always had a way of grounding me, reminding me of simpler times. I'd built Bayview Shores back in the early 2000s, turning a stretch of overgrown waterfront land into a cozy community of townhomes, a few storage sheds, and my pride, enjoy the private harbor with slips for boats like mine. The Endeavor was more than wood and sails. My late wife, Margaret, and I had poured our souls into restoring her. We'd sanded every plank, varnished the rails until they shone like glass, and taken her out on countless sunset cruises before cancer stole Margaret from me 5 years ago. Managing the place alone became too much after that, the endless tenant complaints, the paperwork piling up like driftwood. So, I handed over the day-to-day operations to a professional management firm, keeping my ownership of the land quiet. I became just Bob Harlan, the retired Navy veteran with the old boat at the end of the pier, blending into the background. Sophia had been through hell. The diagnosis came like a rogue wave leukemia at such a young age. Months of treatments left her pale and weak, but her spirit never broke. "Grandpa, will we see the seals?" she'd asked that morning, her new knit cap bobbing as she skipped ahead with her little backpack stuffed with crayons and snacks. I squeezed her hand. "You bet, kiddo. And maybe even a pod of dolphins if we're lucky." But turning the corner to the dock shattered that dream. Dozens of unfamiliar faces swarmed the Endeavor, setting up speakers, stringing lights, and tracking mud across the deck Margaret had loved so much. A guy in a greasy apron was scrubbing the helm with a rag that looked dirtier than the surface itself. Susan Whitaker spotted us first. She was in her mid-50s, with a severe bob haircut and a pantsuit that screamed, "I'm in charge." I'd seen her around bossing people about mailbox colors or fence heights, but we'd never crossed paths like this. "Can I help you?" she snapped, eyeing us like we were intruders on her turf. I kept my voice steady for Sophia's sake. "This is my boat, ma'am. The Endeavor, slip number 7. There must be some mix-up." She flipped through her clipboard with a dramatic sigh. "Robert Harlan? Yes, we've reserved it for the Bayview Shores annual gala. It's a community event, board members and VIPs. The harbor's common property now, per the updated guidelines." Common property? My blood boiled, but I held it together. Sophia whimpered. "Grandpa, why are they on our boat?" That sound gutted me. Susan just smirked. "Rules are rules. If you'd attended meetings, you'd know." I turned Sophia away, whispering assurances, and got her settled in the truck with some music before storming back. "Get them off now," I demanded. Susan laughed a cold, superior bark. "This is official HOA business. The management approved it. Take it up with them." She turned away, dismissing me like a pesky fly. That night, I paced my living room, the harbor lights twinkling mockingly through the window. How had it come to this? I designed those slips as private deeds, like backyard patios. No HOA had the right to touch them. But arguing with Susan was like yelling at a storm cloud. I called the management company, got voicemail. The HOA president, a semi-retired accountant named Harold Jenkins, didn't pick up. It felt like a conspiracy of silence. The next day, I reached Emily Park, the property manager. Her voice was all polished evasion. "Mr. Harlan, I understand your frustration, but Ms. Whitaker followed protocol. The covenants were amended for shared access. I demanded the documents. She promised an email that never came. Tom Riley, a fellow vet and handyman who'd lived here since the beginning, pulled me aside by the gate. Bob, that Whitaker woman's been turning the harbor into her personal playground. Wine tastings, fitness classes, you name it. Last weekend, her goon Derek Voss chased off some kids crabbing because it disrupted aesthetics. Derek was a failed security guard type, always strutting in cargo pants, handing out tickets for nonsense. It clicked. This was a power grab. I dug deeper, reviewing my old security cams. Footage showed Susan hosting a tacky sales pitch on a neighbor's cruiser, leading aerobics that blocked boat access. Then my insurance guy called someone twisted an ankle at one of her events, and a lawsuit loomed. My rates were skyrocketing because of her recklessness. I confronted Emily again. Armed with videos and the bogus meeting minutes, she finally sent a joke of a document from a quorum of just Susan and her crony, voting to seize the harbor without notice. My daughter, Lisa, came over that evening, worry etched on her face. Dad, let it go. Sell the place. Your blood pressure can't take this. She was right about the stress. I'd felt chest pains lately, but selling meant surrender. I thought of Sophia's tears, Tom's warnings, the way Susan mocked us all. No, this bully wouldn't win. In my den, I unlocked the safe holding the original deeds. There it was, proof I owned the land outright through a trust I'd set up years ago. The HOA leased from me, unknowingly. They were tenants, nothing more. A grim smile crossed my face. Time to evict the queen. My first strike was precise. Certified letters to Susan, Harold, and Emily, citing lease violations and demanding they stop. Susan fired back with flyers plastered everywhere. Warning, resident Robert Harlan threatening, HOA leaders avoid contact. My grainy photo from an old newsletter made me look like a thug. Emails bounced. They cut me off. Then the real retaliation. 2 boats towed for violations, a college pennant on one, a small kayak on the other. The owners, the Patels and the Garcias, were furious, facing thousands in fees. Susan told one, obey or pay. Fear rippled through Bayview. Neighbors averted eyes, scared of her wrath. The low point, Frank Dawson, a Vietnam vet in his 70s, cited for his American flag on his balcony. Tom leaked an email from Susan. The hillbillies are stirring, I'll squash it. Rage surged through me. This was cruelty, pure and simple. Then Martha Klein called, sobbing her harbor slip lease terminated for a family visit. Her husband, my old Navy buddy, had helped build the docks before passing. It's all I have left of him, she whispered. I refused to play her game. Lawsuits were slow. I wanted precision. My attorney confirmed my trust, gave me control. I called the bank holding the HOA's mortgage. What's the payoff? The loan was troubled late payments, risks. Through a shell company, Harborfront LLC, I bought it out anonymously. Then we filed the lease termination, listing breaches from unauthorized events to creating hazards. Poof, their power vanished. Susan sensed trouble, but misread it. She announced a lavish harbor ball to flaunt control. I arrived early with Tom and a locksmith, installing a new gate lock I controlled. A sign read, private property, no trespassers. As her entourage approached 50 dolled-up guests, she pushed the gate. Locked solid. Confusion turned to fury as she read the sign. The party fizzled on the wrong side of the barrier. The climax came at the emergency HOA meeting. Susan strutted in, spinning tales of corporate raiders attacking our peaceful enclave. A local reporter watched. Tom recorded. When questions opened, I stood. I'm Robert Harlan, the founder of Bayview Shores. Let me set the record straight. She begrudged me 3 minutes. I held up the cashier's check. This proves my LLC owns your mortgage now. Gasps. Then the termination notice. Your authority is dissolved. Murmurs grew. The original harbor deed. Always private, your common access was fraud. Anger brewed. The insurance letter. Your negligence risked us all. Finally, a recording of Susan's voicemail. That old sailor's harbor? Mine now. The room exploded. Frank Dawson rose. You lied, bullied us. Apologize and resign. Shouts of thief echoed. Susan shattered, hurling papers, shoving a resident. Police, tipped off, escorted her out screaming, this isn't over. But it wasn't quite. Susan sent a laughable fake legal letter, then forged a document with my signature, granting her access busted by pixel errors. Her finale, caught on cam prying the electrical box to sabotage the harbor. Tom spotted her. Cops arrested her for vandalism. The HOA crumbled. Remaining board suspended operations. Emily quit. I sued Susan, personally won restitution and a restraining order. Her townhome sold. She vanished. Healing began. Residents thanked me. Frank gifted a plaque to Admiral Bob, defender of the bay. Sophia and I sailed the Endeavor, her laughter healing old wounds. We formed a HOA president-led, transparent. No more tyrants. Former allies apologized, pitching in. I added a plaque for Margaret. Margaret's dock in loving memory. A simple barbecue sealed it grill sizzling, stories shared under the stars. Storms pass, revealing true anchors. What do you think about the violence and injustice in everyday life, like what happened here? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you side with standing up to bullies? Or is there a better way? Let me know your stance. I'd love to hear your perspectives.